Hey everyone! In Singapore, justice is swift, firm, and unwavering when it comes to crimes of violence, particularly those against the most vulnerable. Today, we discuss a case that marks a significant milestone in Singapore's legal landscape: the sentencing of a man for raping his wife, following the repeal of marital immunity for rape. This case is not just about the law, it's about justice, dignity, and the fundamental truth that no one, not even a spouse, has the right to violate another person's autonomy. Imagine this: a woman, once in love, once believing in the sanctity of marriage, finds herself trapped, not just in an abusive relationship, but in a cruel paradox, where the very person she had once trusted turned into a tormentor. The year was 2020. A man, 42 years old, asked his wife to meet him. She refused, but he showed up at the HDB flat anyway. The HDB flat was provided for by her employer. What started as a simple meeting quickly spiraled into a nightmarish sequence of violence. An argument erupted. He snatched her phone. He slapped her. He dragged her. When she tried to leave, he forced her back. At one point, the wife's supervisor, who happened to be at the lift lobby of the HDB flat, intervened, urging her to talk things through. The wife, perhaps out of fear or perhaps out of hope that she could defuse the situation, went along with her husband. Little did she know what awaited her was far worse. Once inside his place, he pulled the shutters down, isolating her from the world. Then came the violence. He slapped her, causing her to fall and hit her mouth on the floor, leaving her bleeding. And then, while she lay there helpless, he brandished a metal rod over her head and told her, "If you shout, I will use this to hit you to death." He then put down the metal rod and raped her. For years, the law in Singapore offered husbands immunity from being charged with raping their wives. These archaic principles stem from the idea that marriage implied perpetual consent. But that changed on the 1st of January of 2020. The repeal of marital immunity for rape was a watershed moment, affirming that consent is never implied, never automatic, and never to be taken for granted. The husband initially denied his actions, claiming the sexual acts were consensual. But after 2 days of trial, during which his wife took the stand and relived her trauma, he changed his plea to guilty. The High Court sentenced him to 14 years and 5 months, along with 12 strokes of the cane. A heavy punishment, but one that signals the gravity of his crime. The prosecution emphasized these factors in seeking a sentence of at least 13 to 14 years in jail. The court agreed. In her victim impact statement, the woman spoke of the deep emotional wounds she carried. It took her 8 months to regain some semblance of normalcy. But the scars, physical and emotional, will last a lifetime. She was heartbroken, not just because of the crime itself, but because it had affected her relationship with her children. A family torn apart by an act of cruelty, a moment of rage that changed lives forever. In cases of abuse, the impact extends far beyond the victim. It touches families, children, and communities. The law punishes the offender, but it cannot erase the pain inflicted. This case represents a shift in how society views marriage, consent, and justice. No person should feel entitled to another's body, not even within marriage. The repeal of marital immunity for rape is a step towards recognizing this fundamental truth. There is a lesson here. Life is impermanent. Relationships, emotions, even the bonds we hold dear, they change and they will dissolve. Clinging to the past, to old resentments, to the illusion of control, this is the root of suffering. True strength is not in force, but in letting go, in understanding that love is not possession, that control is an illusion, that peace comes not from subjugation, but from respect, compassion, and understanding. Thanks for joining me in this case summary. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.